So thank you guys for hopping on. We didn't want to go over and over and repeat ourselves because the topics can be kind of tedious for, veteran coaches and things like that. So we thought it would be a good idea to just kind of leave it open and we can all chat and answer questions and things. So Ashley and I are both going to cover some of the questions that were posted in the event page. But if you have any and didn't post them in the event, just type them in the chat and we'll get to them, as we go through the ones that were already posted. Or if you want to unmute yourself once we get started, this is just going to be basically a free-for-all interactive call. So if you guys have any questions that you think of during the call, just shoot it out there. But let me just mute everyone. I think the first question was Nicole's. Do you want to start with that one, Ash?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. All right. Let me mute everyone and then I'll unmute you. Okay. I think everyone's muted. All right. You're good. You probably can't see me. You're good.
Okay. Okay. So those of you that didn't read it, Nicole was asking basically how you can make your business a priority, get back to messages and everything in a timely manner without your spouse and your family, like taking away time from your spouse and family and them feeling like you're always on your phone or your computer. Now, I think all of us kind of struggle with this. Definitely when you first start out, and even now, I'm constantly like trying to put my phone down, like when I'm with my kids, because I can find myself on it too much. But the main thing when it comes to this, it just kind of all buckles down to having a schedule of some sort. And I know that's easier said than done, but I think what is important to know when you first become a coach, and even as maybe you're a full-time coach now, like it's okay to not answer someone back right away. And I know that you might think, oh, well, if I don't answer them as soon as they message me, they're not going to be interested when I get the time to answer them back. Now, I'm not saying answer them back a week later, but if you should have your set task list, and this is just an easier way, just kind of to be organized in general, of what you need to do that day. So if you have set out that you need to send out 20 invites that day or whatever your number is, you need to get that done before you answer any messages. So you want to sit down, you want to do all of that work, whether these people instantly message you back or not. And then if you don't have scheduled in your time that you have to answer them back, then don't answer them back when you have the time. When I was working full-time as a hairstylist, I worked 4 days a week. I worked 12-hour days. And that's when I built my business. And to be honest, I was way more organized, way more on track than I am now being home working as a full-time coach. Because it's very easy now for me to just push it off, because not that I have the time, but I'm not working for someone else. It's me that I have to be disciplined. So when I was working 12-hour days, what I would do is before I went into work that day, I would get my workout done. I would drink my Shakeology, and then I would do a post about it. And then when I never got a break as a stylist. So I don't know if any of you had or have demanding jobs right now that you don't really get like a lunch break. Like I never got a lunch break. So I would have like 10 minutes. I would throw someone's color on. I would have 10 minutes before my next client walked in the door, where I would sit there and message all of those people that liked my morning post. And I would just do that all day long. So I worked in like small increments, and I still kind of work my business that way. I call them like my mom cracks of the day, because I don't want to be on my phone all day when I'm with my kids. And so it's the same thing with your spouse or your family or whoever. So if you kind of just work in from a list of exactly what you need to do it in, like I used to post in my challenge group before I even got out of bed in the morning. I made sure I did that right away. So if you kind of have this set schedule of some sort, like in the morning I do one post and I post in my challenge group and I get my workout done or whatever it is. And then in the afternoon, if you have a lunch break or just like 10, 20 minutes here, message all of those people. And then at night, if you have like, some people try to take nighttime off because that's usually when their spouse is home, when they, when they get home from work. But if you ask your spouse or, whoever you live with, hey, would you mind covering, like, I'll cook dinner. Would you mind covering the dishes for me tonight so that I can just work for 20 minutes on my business? If you kind of say to your spouse or your family member, whoever you're living with, that's like, oh, you're always on your phone. If you say to them, like, listen, this is important to me. I'm not on my phone talking to, like, I used to have to tell my husband, I'm not talking to guys all day, okay? Like, I'm trying to build a business. If they understand that you're serious about it and that this is more than a hobby to you, then they will understand. They'll start to understand that she's on her phone because she's trying to help someone get set up with a challenge pack, or she's trying to sign up a new coach. And now my husband gets it. And I try to be very scheduled with that, and I try not to do things after a certain time at night, like when he's home, so that we have our time together. But if you say, like, hey, I just need 20-30 minutes, you think you could get the kids, give them their bath for me and get their pajamas on and let me take this 20 minutes to myself right now, then it kind of is just like, okay, she needs me to do this so that she can work on her business. So try and set those guidelines with whoever you live with, whoever is giving you that hard time where you feel like you're on your phone or your computer. Monday nights, he knows, are my nights for team calls. He's not home half the time because he works nights sometimes. So, but he knows every Monday, if he is home, he's getting the kids in the bath and he's getting them in bed for me because he knows my night is scheduled. And so if you just kind of set those guidelines out, then I think it just makes it easier on you and your stress, and same with your spouse. But more importantly, make sure you sit down and you tell them how important this business is to you and your vision, because the sooner that they get on board with you, and they start to see that, like, you're not just on your phone all the time, you're on your phone, you're earning an income, you're paying for gas, you're paying for groceries that week, like, then they start to be like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, this is a business. And my husband was not always super supportive right off the bat. I mean, he was, but he wasn't. At the same time, he was like a lot of spouses, like, you're on your phone all the time, blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't until I fully sat down and I was like, duh, why would he get it? Like, he does, who understands that we play on social media all day, but we're actually working? You know what I mean? So definitely having that conversation with that person, setting time limits for yourself, asking for help in other areas, whether it's doing the laundry or whatever. So you have like a set time to work your business. And when you say you're going to be off your phone, get off your phone. If you say, okay, babe, like, I'm going to be done working at 8 o'clock tonight and we have the rest of the night to watch a movie or whatever, then get off your phone at 8 o'clock. Once in a while, if you're like, I'm so sorry, I'm just trying to send this person, I say this to them all the time, like, just trying to send this person the enrollment, and then I promise I'm going to put my phone down. That's okay. If you explain what you're doing, but having a little bit of a schedule, working in those cracks, and just being intentional with your time. We all know there's a difference between working and scrolling. And I mean, I'm very guilty of this too, but if you say I need 20 minutes, then spend those 20 minutes doing your invites and your follow-ups and your connections or whatever you needed to get done within that 20 minutes. Don't spend those 20 minutes scrolling on Facebook and all of that, and just kind of set schedules for what you need to get done. If nighttime's when you answer all your messages, then it's when you answer all your messages. There's very few times. I used to always think that I needed to get back to that person right away. And like, that's exhausting. Like, you will burn yourself out if you sit there all day long having, let's face it, the same conversation with people over and over and over again, right? What are your fitness goals? What's your nutrition like? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, if you sit there and you start a conversation and finish it with one day, you're going to be exhausted. I don't believe, like, I wouldn't want to do this business if that was me, because I'd be like, oh my God, like, all day long I'm asking the same questions and blah, blah, blah. And as much as, yes, we do that, but if you send out that invite and then, okay, lunchtime, I'm going to answer their message and ask them another question, that conversation will keep going no matter what. And if that person was meant to sign up with you and join your group, then they will. It won't matter if they signed up the second you message them or if they signed up a week later. Now, if you're trying to hit a goal tonight, for example, it's the last day of the month. If you guys are grinding out Success Club right now, then yes, answer those messages, send those new messages, be up until 11:59 if you're shooting for Success Club tonight. But you tell your spouse, I'm trying to hit a goal right now, so I'm going to be up and I'm going to be working. Like, and they'll understand. So again, I think it just comes down to communication and having a set schedule, in my opinion.
I'm going to add to that two things you made me think of. One thing that I do is I set timers. So like I'm a get it done in like a deadline type of person. And I also can relate to Ash on how, you know, once you become full-time, you literally feel like you have the entire day and then you end up doing absolutely nothing productive that is actually moving your business forward. So something that I do, and when I do it, it helps, is I'll set a timer for like a half an hour, or if I'm cooking chicken in the oven or we're making rice or something, I'm like, okay, I have 20 minutes till the rice is done. I'm going to go do this, or I'm going to go do this when that's done. So if you set timers, you might feel more of that like promptness to like get it done before the alarm goes off. And then the other thing, I think it was a training that we were in, and one of the top coaches, I want to say it was Amy Silverman, who's very blunt and in your face, which we all need that tough love sometimes. But she was saying that when you feel like you're having that push-pull with the people that you live with and you're struggling with the people that you live with understanding your business, and if you're not a new coach anymore, you might be a coach for 6 months or a year or something like that. But having that constant, like I'm always working on my phone, I'm always doing things on my phone, I'm always on my computer, is okay if they're okay with it, as long as you're like also talking or walking the walk. You're not just like constantly working, but you're not showing any progress or any result. And then to them, it's like, okay, well, you're putting all this time into it, but you're not actually doing anything. And that keeps them a naysayer. It keeps them doubting what you're doing. And then you feel unsupported because you're not actually seeing any progress. So I think being intentional, like Ashley said, being intentional with your time, when you are on your phone, you're not just scrolling and talking to the same people, and you're actually doing those things that move your business forward. Does anyone else want to add to that before I move on to the next question? Okay. All right. So the next one was a two-part question. Tiff asked about the money objection and how to explain coaching without making it sound like we're all about sales. So the first one about the cost objection, basically that's mainly just having a good way to explain it without sounding like we're being that annoying, like, well, what do you mean? This should be a priority for you, because like people, they know that, but it's not right now, and that's okay. So I have like 4 scripts that I can post after in the event page, but there's a few different ways that you can go about it. You can go about it and kind of make them think a little bit more about what they're spending their money on and what they can kind of pull from. So maybe asking them, if it is a priority for them, maybe asking them what are some things that you can cut back on if they're receptive to, you know, taking that advice from you. You know, are you spending money at Starbucks every day? Are you buying that $9 sugary drink? Are you buying breakfast every morning from Dunkin' Donuts? Do you get your nails done once a month? Like, can you maybe not do that? And you know what I mean? So if they're in that receptive state where they're like, I want to do it, but I just can't figure out how to come up with the money, have that conversation with them and kind of help them think of the things that they can cut back on. And if they're not, those are also great post ideas too, to tackle objections that way. And then the other type of way to go about it is by just telling them, like, it's okay that you know, it might not be a priority for you right now, but I'm not sure if this helps, but it is a 30-day money back guarantee. So if you try it out and you absolutely don't see any results and you want to return your money, you can, so you won't feel like you totally wasted it. Because then there are people who are like, I don't want to spend the money because I don't know if it's worth it, or I don't know if I'm actually going to see results, or if I'm actually going to like the program. So I know it's scary and you don't want people to return their challenge packs, but throwing that out there, some people like that reassurance of knowing like it's not a permanent thing if they hate it. And even with that, I think I've had maybe 3 people in the past 3.5 years that I've been coaching that have actually returned their challenge packs. So don't be afraid to throw that in there and just say, listen, if this takes the pressure off, like if you trust me, I can help you. We'll give me 21 days to work with you and work with the group, and we'll totally dial it in. And if you absolutely hate it and you actually tried and don't see any results, then you can completely return it back, bottom of the bag, full money back guarantee. So I would also throw that in there. And then some people are just, it's not a good time for them. So it's good to also acknowledge that, like, totally fine. Like, I get it's a big investment. Would next month be better for you? Or when is a better time for me to check in with you? Do you want me to follow up with you in August or something like that? Then when they are ready to sign up in August, you have one extra person who just committed that you did all that work in July and had all that conversation in July, and now they're ready to commit. But just kind of figuring out where that situation can go and which objection, battling objection, whatever script that you can send to them. I'm trying to think what else I have on here. Oh, and breaking down how much it is per day. I don't know if you do that or if any of you guys do that, but one of the things that you could say to them is just, like, I totally understand that it seems like a lot to spend on yourself, but if you break it down per day, it's like spending $4 to $5 on a meal. And if you cut out those small day-to-day purchases, you'd be breaking even with your budget, basically. Or saying, this is something Ashley does, is telling them, like, you're not grocery shopping for 3 meals anymore. You're only grocery shopping for 2, because you can have your Shakeology for breakfast, which most people buy breakfast foods or, you know, eggs, cereal, whatever, but then they don't eat it because they don't save time to eat before work. So it's like they're saving money on their grocery bill, and they're actually eating breakfast or their 3rd meal of the day. So also breaking it down in those little daily breakdowns too for them, because sometimes they look at the big number and they're like, whoa. And another good thing too is breaking down, you know, people who have a gym membership. Are they using it? If they're not, why do they have it? If they like to go to the gym and they're going to stream their workouts from there, great. How much are they spending on their gym membership? That also could be a good post objection too, to say, you know, I was spending $20 a month on my membership. People in the city spend $75 a month on their membership. And our challengers are getting how many programs, like 15 programs, 450 workouts for whatever it is. I don't even know how much it would be. What's $100 divided by 12? Like $8 a month, something like that.
I know I told this to Ash today. I talked to this girl who goes to Orange Theory, $160 a month.
Stop it.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, Sam did. Sam did that for a while. And
What?
Sam just had, like, I think she posted on her Instagram that she had like one more class left, but she was like, it's ridiculous. And I did not pay for one. I went to one class. I was like, nope.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
$60 a month. I was like blown away. I was like, whoa. So if anyone needs that objection.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I just want to touch on that. Sorry, and then you can keep going.
No, you're good.
I think we as coaches need to share more of the group aspect and the accountability challenge group aspect, because my sister-in-law, Mattia, who is also a coach, but doesn't fully work her business, she goes to metabolic. So anyone that's like in the capital region, the metabolic meltdown is like this biggest, newest like boot camp thing. It's literally like taking over. And she pays around that amount per month, and she loves it. And she goes every single day. And, you know, she uses her membership, but she has said to me multiple times, they do the same exact thing that I do in these programs. So it's not, I think what she, and, you know, this is coming from someone who has done multiple programs, and she's a big believer, gets Shakeology every single month, you know, all of that. But it's the motivation aspect. So I think if we as coaches can talk more about and share more of our challenger results and progress and all of that, then we can attract these people more, because so many people just, I think, shy away, even though it's the same moves, it's the same stuff, and it's less expensive, but they think that they're going to be more motivated because someone's going to be in their face versus someone doing a video at home. So I just wanted to touch on that because I was asking her about metabolic because I've never been, and it was just interesting to me. And so I think if we share more of what our challenge groups are and what they really are about, and how it's like, yes, you're going to have that same thing. We might not physically be in your living room each day, but then more people would maybe be prone to trying it rather than spending these membership fees and not actually utilizing them.
Mm-hmm.
Because like her going every single day is probably not the norm. Most people probably pay for it and don't actually go.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did at the gym. I paid $145 at Best Fitness because I paid for personal training and I barely went. So
yeah, I think that's a good idea too. And especially like you see people all the time say like, I like to go to the gym because I have a buddy. And it's like, well, I have 45 buddies logging right now. Like, and I don't have to leave my house. But yeah, Tiff, I mean, that would be a good post too, if you wanted to write like just a comparison of how it's crazy that what you have for an entire year with so many different options and something different every day, so you don't get bored and don't have to think about it, is the same price as what people are paying monthly to show up maybe twice a week and do the same stuff when they get there. Like that would be a cool way to just talk about it publicly too. And I think that's the biggest thing with objections in general, is the more we talk about them on our posts, the less people will have like weight to their objection when they're talking to you publicly, which granted, I mean, obviously people are going to say whatever they want anyway, but I think if we can just talk about those things, or maybe objections we had or things that you're hearing from other people, like that would be a perfect post for you to do publicly. And now 12 other girls or however many other people probably are thinking the same thing, that now you just like prove them wrong basically. Let me just check the chat quick.
Sorry, I'm like blowing up chat, but
That's okay.
with objections, so I definitely don't have the extra cash right now to go like get extra weights. So I do use like Shift Shop at the gym in the performance room.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess like sometimes I like find myself being like, I don't know why you shouldn't have a gym membership, but also not have bod. Like I don't know. People have been like really happy with bod, but I know I'm just having a hard time with some objections for committing to something else and then also using the gym's resources, because you know a lot of the bod doesn't come with all the equipment when you buy a pro, because the program's already there, so you don't have that luxury of getting another, you have to go on beachbody.com, like some people have just like called it a hassle. I'm like, well, you can just use your gym and that way you have the weights there, you don't have to pay for anything. But if you're paying $10 so I'm trying to find kind of a happy medium.
I think with ooh, I think we're echoing. I think with that, you just have to touch on, do you want a weighted program? Because that's only one of like the 6 options of type of exercise that we have access to. And it's just like anything else. If they want to work out from home or they don't want to go to the gym anymore, they would buy the weights anyway. Like regardless of using Beachbody on demand, like if someone's going to do workouts at home, they're going to have their own dumbbells. So I guess the biggest thing for people who don't want to buy extra weights or don't have the money to buy weights, if they want to continue to go to the gym, I do have people that are challengers that go to the gym so they can have that extra space, or are maybe on the second floor of an apartment, or want heavier weights or things like that. And they do best of both worlds. And then there's other people who don't have that luxury to do both, that just do the cardio programs. Max 30, that's a no equipment program. Core de Force, that's a no equipment program. PiYo, there's so many on there that they don't need weights. So if that's their biggest excuse, I would just touch on a different type of exercise that they like to do and have them do that one instead, because there's cardio, weight training, yoga, dancing, boot camp, agility. And so weight training is only one of those 7 options. So I would just let them know, like, you're looking at a really small slice of the pie, and you're concerned about such a small thing that it's like, if that's something you want to do, that's, you can do on your own time at the gym, or save up and buy weights and do a cardio program in between. But just try and always find another solution for them instead of getting hung up in the issue that they're focused on, if that makes sense.
I just want to add quickly to that. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by our chat because Mallory just got engaged. She sent a picture. Sorry, not to be like not paying attention, because I totally am. But I always ask people that when they tell me they're doing something else, I say, how are you liking your results? Because majority of the time, they're going to be like, well, they're okay, but like, I'm not really seeing any changes. It's like, okay, so you're not necessarily telling someone they can't do both. And like, Ash, if you like to take your workouts to the gym, that's great. I would be personally uncomfortable working out, doing these programs, not uncomfortable, but like, that's not, I like to do it in my house for, just my own comfort reasons. But you can ask people that, how are you liking your results? Because the thing that's different is that they may go to the gym. Okay, but most people don't know what to do at the gym. So then now you need to do what I used to do, was pay for personal training. Because yes, you can ask the people that work at the gym, certain things, but like, if you need someone to like be right there, like telling you what to do and what to do next and all that, like, they're now going to need to pay for personal training sessions, which we all know are very, very expensive. Like when I went to go, Carly's boyfriend is a personal trainer, but when I went to go, I paid for like classes, which was my $100 extra a month, but it was almost $800 a month for 4 times a week with a personal trainer at, Best Fitness, which is just like a basic gym around here. And so it's like, with these programs, if they want to bring them to the gym, that's fine, but they're going to have world-class trainers right there from their computer screen that they're paying $16 a month for. Like, so that's like the difference. But I would always start out with saying, how are you, like, that's great that you love the gym. How are you liking your results? And let them go from there, because some people are just not going to be ready, and that's okay. But that's when we need to just keep like publicly battling those objections. But I would, if you haven't already asked that question, that would be like my first question, is be supportive. Like, that's so awesome that you love the gym. Like, it totally wasn't for me. Are you loving your results? Like, be so excited for them, because then when they're like, not really, like, that's when you're like, well, maybe you should try something different. You know what I mean? So that would be my suggestion.
Yep. Love it. All right, we're going to do the other question that was posted, and then we'll go back to the chat because we have a little under 10 minutes. But the other question was, wait, I just lost it. Oh, how to explain coaching without making it sound like we're all about sales. So I think the biggest thing is to keep it simple, because I remember as a new coach, I was so scared to talk to people about coaching because I felt like I had to word vomit. I felt like I had to explain all these things. I felt like I had to talk about all the perks and all the things that they can do and all this fun stuff. And this is how much % off you get, and this is the commission you get, and you get paid on Thursdays. And like, I just felt like I was just like, here's everything. Like, hope you sign up. I used to send like an email with like so much shit in it. And I'm like, I wouldn't want to read that. Why would someone else want to read that? So I think the biggest thing when someone asks you, because if you know what to say back, then you're not going to be scared to invite to the coaching opportunity. So I think when you're saying, have you ever considered becoming a coach? People don't want to go back in and respond to their response, because you're like, well, I don't know what to say now. So the one thing I say is I literally keep it very, very simple, black and white. I got some of this from Sam, and then I just kind of tweaked it to my personal self. But I just say, so basically as a coach, my main focus is to help people get started on their own fitness journey, which is exactly what we all do. We sign up as a coach, and we have to also show up and commit to a program. And then I chat with people about the coach/income opportunity and use social media to share my journey and encourage people to join me to get in shape themselves. And then I end it with a question. Are you into health and fitness right now? If I know they are, then I just say something nice about their page. I saw you're in a bikini competition, so you're already super committed. I saw you post healthy recipes all the time, like, so you already have the nutrition down. And then compliment them that way and say, so I feel like you would be awesome at what I do. And then just ask them, like, what do you think so far? How does this sound so far? Because really, when you break it down to the simplicity of our business, we want people to join the team, to work on themselves, share what they're doing, because that's the biggest thing that people ask when they start to see someone happier or lose more weight or eating better or having more energy. They're like, what are you doing? So that's what I just say. I basically just say, you're going to start your own fitness journey, share it publicly with people. And I talk to other people about the coaching income opportunity and to help other people get in shape themselves. And then when they ask, if you say, how does that sound so far? Whatever they say back, I break it down again in a little bit more detail and just say, we set people up with workouts, Shakeology, our superfood shake that helps with energy, digestion, cravings, or you can just say our superfood shake if you want. Meal planning based on their goals and online accountability groups. We earn 25% commission when we set them up. And then I just say, all of the training is included. I'll teach you how to expand your network, post, talk to new people, invite and host your own groups. How does that sound so far? Do you have any questions? Like just little breadcrumbs. And then from there, when they say, no, I don't have any more questions, or yes, I do, they'll have maybe an objection that you can kind of battle that way. But from there, I just give them that same breakdown. This is everything you'd be getting. I give them that same breakdown as a challenger who would be getting the all access challenge pack. So I just say, you'll get a year of workouts, you'll get a month of superfoods, you'll get a group, the shaker cup, the portion containers, me as your coach, all of the free training, team page community, blah, 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 and just kind of talk about it that way. And then once they get signed up, that new coach email kind of gives them more specific steps on what they're going to do, how to get started, things like that. So unless they have very specific questions like, how much time do I need to put into it? Or do you get paid well? Or do people actually make money? Or is it a pyramid scheme? Those are all objections that we know how to answer now. And if we don't, we have scripts for that. But I think focusing less on we make money when people join our team, because we don't, you know what I mean? We are successful when our coaches are successful. So when our coaches are helping people and they're doing well, we do well. So I feel like if you can talk about those things and just accentuate the fact that we all work together and we all want everyone to do well, instead of just, oh, I sell this to her and I sell this to her and, I make money off of the people who order through me. Focus more on, I help people get results. I help people with financial freedom. I help people make more time for themselves. I help people actually, reach their goals from their house. Focus on those more emotional things, whether it's publicly or through private message, instead of saying, if people say, I'm not a salesperson. Well, neither am I. I lost weight and felt really good. So I wanted to help other people do that as well, or whatever. But does that answer your question? I feel like it's kind of a hard, big.
Yeah, I do like literally the exact same thing that you do with like the breakdown. I just feel like once I get to like, here's your package and this is the price, it's kind of like, oh, like it's almost like they were just yesing me the whole time. And then they're just like, no, not for me. I don't want to sell that. I don't want to, that's too much money or whatever it is. So I feel like I just didn't know if you guys were doing a different scripting or whatever. So I guess it's just the people I'm talking to. It's literally
that's kind of where I'm at too, is I get all this like really, really good feedback and yeah, I'm totally interested just in the challenge pack or, being a coach. And then all of a sudden they're, yeah, I want to like, how much is it? Or not even ask how much it is. And then you like break it down even further of the cost. And then bam, nothing else. Like as if I was doing it for free.
Yeah.
Like I'm just, holding all these accountability groups just, I mean, I want to do it out of the kindness of my heart, but I also, want to make some money at the same time. I'm not just doing it for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard because then I like reach back out and was like, you seemed interested. Now, I'm looking, I'm going to start an event this day. Are you interested? Then nothing. Then you comment again. And it's like, you're at a standstill. Once you give them all the information, you really have nothing more to offer besides asking them if they're ready to join you.
Yeah. I mean, I think with that, Jess, like people at least just committing to groups, that's all just about consistency. Because especially as a new coach, you have that like 3-month window of you're putting time and effort into talking to all these people until they actually start coming back around. Because I remember my first group that I had, I only had 2 people commit. And that was after 3 months of me actually starting to do anything. So I think the biggest thing with that is just being consistent on constantly reaching out to new people and not getting hung up on the ones that ignored you or didn't say yes or kind of blew off your message, because that happens to all of us. Like we get ignored, like people don't respond, they like or delete us on Facebook. Like it happens. But as long as you're also reaching out to more people, those people who come back around, you're going to be like, oh, I completely forgot about her because, I did my follow-up and I'm moving on. So that part is just all about patience. But Tiff, as far as coaching and things like that, I think if you have people who aren't giving you the responses throughout that conversation that you're expecting, or that you feel like they're not into it and they are just like, oh, well, I don't really want to do it. Okay. You know what I mean? Because I feel like you're not word vomiting. You're not putting all this stuff out there. You're just giving them little pieces of, this is what we're doing. This is how we coach people. And if they're like, no, it's like, all right, well, then you're not my person and you're not ready or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like people are like, yes, it sounds so good. Like I've heard of Beachbody. I love it, blah, blah. Like literally like so excited like throughout the entire thing. And then it's like, okay, this is what you're going to get. So you think it's going to be like, oh, no big deal. Like I'm so excited. But then it's like literally bye. They don't say anything. And it's just like you follow up. They just completely ghost you. And I just don't get why people do that. It's just frustrating.
Yeah. Wait, Ash, what do you mean? Are you talking about your posts? I can't hear you.
Oh, okay, I'm saying, so I'm reading this book, we're going to get kicked off, but it's called 6 Months to 6 Figures. I would highly recommend it if anyone has huge goals, but it's just talking about how us as business owners need to constantly be providing value rather than expecting people to just say